of sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
He did a good job. He made a lot of good pitches today, and we didn't get anything really going against him at all. And I think that was really it. We faced a guy throwing the ball really well, but our offense has done a good job all week long against some really good arms, and we faced another one today. We just couldn't start it up and keep it going.
Hold on just a second here. I'm trying to find if any of these sports books have updated Manager of the Year odds here. Let's see here. This one, MGM, that's 2021. Yeah, I'll try and find something here, but I think the odds are with Rocco right now. American League Manager of the Year. Judd, what do you think?
Oh, I think it's been incredible. I mean, I think it is absolutely an optimal job. And I also would like to say this.
But you're being mean and sarcastic.
Because I'm about to say something.
I'm being 80% serious.
I'm about to say something completely serious right now. So I want you to hear this out. Sports Dad is speaking. Jace Tingler.
Oh my God.
Amazing what a good bench coach can do. Amazing what a good bench coach does. You know, all I know is the Twins, good bench coaches, 2019, 2020, 2021. Tragically, unfortunately, not so much. Jace Tingler, 2022. Get a good bench coach by Rocco. What happens?
You know, I tell you, I do when they show the dugout, I do see Carlos Correa talking with Jace Tingler more often than I see him talking with Rocco Baldelli. So I think the players agree. Jace Tingler is the straw that is stirring the Twins' drink. 5-4 over the toughest stretch of the season, a stretch that notably you and Patrick Royce thought the wheels would come off and heads would roll. They went 5-4 over these 9 games against the American League East without Sonny Gray, without Joe Ryan, without Bailey Ober is one of the, I feel like people are crowning him a little early, but he's in their starting rotation. He's been solid. Without really playing the A lineup more than once. I think we saw the A lineup once. And it was yesterday, wasn't it? Didn't we see the A lineup minus Max Kepler because it was a lefty yesterday?
Pretty much, yeah.
Maybe Friday. A couple times.
On Friday they did. I think it wasn't a Rise Correa.
But anyway, yes.
Yeah.
But you're correct. They didn't play it a lot.
Yeah. I was correct. That's right. And you were wrong about
I was wrong about this stretch.
Wrong.
I was wrong about this stretch. I thought they would.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. You're in the middle of it.
I was just going to say, I was wrong about the stretch. I thought that they would struggle much more. 5-4, and look, I'm saying this without being sarcastic about it. It could have been 6-3. Like they had chances too. I don't feel like there were a lot of games within the last 9. Yesterday was probably one of them, but in which they looked like outclassed or couldn't have come back or couldn't have won. So it could have been, 6 wins.
Well, yeah, like you're not going to look. This is the lesson I think everyone should learn here, starting with you and Patrick Royce. And I love you guys, but you guys treated these 9 games like football. And oftentimes we will make fun of people who treat baseball like football on this show because you're not going to get outclassed in a game of baseball. There's no such thing as getting outclassed in a game of baseball. In a month of baseball or in 15 games against an opponent or something over the course of a season, yeah. But I think the main lesson, in fact, let's start the statements train here. Mackey and Judd on a Monday.
Okay.
I'll give you the first
statement. This is
going
to play in perfectly after yours.
Okay. The first statement I have is the lesson that we should all learn here. Baseball is weird, and the Twins are good. They weren't going to go 0-9, even with all these players injured on the COVID list, whatever. They weren't going to go 1-8. Like this was a good team. I'm not saying they're the Yankees or the Dodgers. This was a good team that still has good players, even when some of their best players aren't playing. And so I think, and I'll speak to myself here because I'm guilty of this.
Yep.
I harbor all of the last 20 years, and I harbor all of the playoff losses and all of the incompetence we've seen in free agency and trades the last couple of years into the way that I look at this team. I've been having a hard time opening up my arms to this team because of everything that's happened. And while I'm not crowning them World Series champions by any means, and we'll talk more about what they can potentially do, this was a damn good stretch of baseball. This was the biggest test of the season for sure. And they came out of it 5-4 with one of their 4 wheels unattached to the car, basically.
Absolutely.
And so they deserve a ton of credit for what they just did over these 9 games. And I think this team deserves a chance to play this out. Let's see what they do. Let's see what the front office does. But this was the biggest test. They passed it. And I was
absolutely. Right. You were right. 5-4, outstanding. But here's where there's the fly in the ointment. Here's where the fly in the ointment. And I want you all to listen to this very closely because it is something that the younger generation has actually embraced. And you know what? In this case, you are 1,000% right. Sports kids, you are all right. And that is this statement. The results were good. The process is incredibly flawed.
Oh, my God.
The process, and why is that important? It's not because of 18. Forget 18, because you're right, Phil. It goes back 20 years, okay? And Baldelli was like, I don't know, probably 20 years old or something. When this started, it's not his problem. 5 is the key number here. That's the number of playoff losses that this front office and particular manager have gone through. And if you watch the process of what they are still doing, it is repeating a lot of the same things in the regular season that they've done in the playoffs as far as approach on pitching, as far as approach in trying to get guys off their feet at odd times. If you go back and look at what the flaws have been in those 5 playoff games, and God knows there have been flaws, some of those flaws are continuing to creep up and lessons have not been learned. You can sneak by that in June. Can you sneak by with those same mistakes in October?
Well, and they're not going to rest Byron Buxton in a playoff series. So the goal here is to get him to the playoffs. Right?
Okay,
that's what they're trying to do.
Yes, but Phil, you brought in Tyler Duffey in a game against the Yankees down by 1. That's a flawed process.
That was a weak.
That's a flawed process.
I don't look back. I only look forward.
You can't lean on. We lost the game, but our process was right. Which, by the way, I'll go down that path. Like, I don't know that I always agree, but there are times where it's like, yeah, you know what, you really did. Sports can be weird.
Okay.
But then you can't not use that thought process when it's not convenient because the result was positive.
Yeah, I hated the Tyler Duffey decision, but it was one decision on a 9-game stretch that resulted in a 5-4 record. I guess my question is, what percentage of people this morning are waking up thinking, let's hammer this team for bad process over the last 9 games? Okay, the Duffey decision was bad. It doesn't mean that they're just bumbling all over themselves here. I'm not going to do this every day where we just, all right, well, you've won more games, but
yep. No,
but
I'm giving them credit.
2 years
but why
ago.
can't we have a conversation about both sides? Like why do we need to be like, well, 5-4 is great. 5-4 is very good. I was wrong about this stretch, 1,000%. But I am firmly of the belief that you just can't be like, well, then 5-4, it's all fine. We're looking for the whole purpose of why we exist is to look for the good and the bad, not to just embrace the good.
But what will it take for you to come in one day, sometime this week or next week, and say, you know what? I'm gonna hold the Tyler Duffey thing just for 24 hours and give fans a good feeling today on the show. Like the Tyler Duffey thing, that's a low blow to Twins fans today. And I agree, it was a bad decision. Does it need to be brought up today? Are you like the knight in shining armor that's like, listen, but don't forget,
you can't.
You guys are feeling good today, but don't forget.
But you
Tyler
then
Duffey
can't
was
use
brought
the
in.
process results argument if you want to flush it down the toilet when it's not convenient to your to the narrative that you want. Like, we are in an age of process and results, and I believe that it's very important that then gets extrapolated over everything we talk about. Not, well, the process might have been flawed, but they won, so who cares? This is how you lose playoff games. This is we're staring at how you lose playoff games.
I know that.
Because your process remains flawed.
Okay, Declan, I this is hard because I agree that their process has not been flawless this season.
And I'm giving them credit, Phil. I'm giving them credit.
You're giving
yes,
them You're giving them zero credit.
You're
giving them
no,
zero
I am
credit.
not. I'm
yes,
saying that there's a conversation to be had here about a lot of different things, but they won 5 games. I was wrong about the stretch. Like, what more do you want me to say?
Well, I think we should ask the audience, do you feel like Judd is giving the Twins credit right now?
And by the way,
in the
I
first
got
10
more
minutes of the
here.
show, is Judd giving the Twins credit?
I got more here, but Declan, go ahead.
Trying to figure out how to top that a little bit, but I mean, they went 5-4 over a nice stretch of games here. There are 3 quality teams. All of them are probably going to be in the playoffs. You got to just take that as what it is. Yes, the Yankees Game 1 decision was baffling to bring in Duffey. But my goal right here And I know we're all about championships on this show. We want to see a team actually get a championship for the first time in 30 years. I just want this team to win a damn playoff game. That is my bar for this team. And they are trending to do that.
Yeah, that can be the bar.
And I think they're trending to do that, to win one GD playoff game. And I think with what they have coming up now, and my statement is, bring on the reinforcements, because now you're getting your legitimate arms back in your rotation. So you threw out Cole Sands, Chichi Gonzalez, for God's sakes, relying on Bailey Ober and Dylan Bundy and Chris Archer to be your knights in shining armor. Now, I'll say...
Not Bailey.
Archer's
he's out too. Archer, yeah.
But all these slappies that you've had to throw out.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And hey, they went 5-4 at the stretch, but now you get Sonny Gray back, you get Joe Ryan back, you get your top 2 arms in your rotation, which should help things. And then even... on MLB.com today, a little MLB trade deadline stock post from Mark Feinstein has the Twins as a potential suitor for Luis Castillo of the Reds. So the reinforcements not just should be internal, which they are, because Ryan and Sonny Gray are going to pitch this week in Seattle most likely, but also look external. Look at someone like Luis Castillo. Look to somewhere to bolster your bullpen. I will say because I went on the same rant, obviously, with Martin Perez with Phil the other day, who got rocked on Saturday, by the way. So I'm not sure if you...
I know, he gave up 7 runs. If only someone could have foreshadowed a regression to the mean.
But if they throw out a Cole Sands in a playoff game, then they're asking for trouble. If they put Tyler Duffy in a playoff game, they're asking for trouble. But they're not. No, and that's where the reinforcements are coming. That's where the Sonny Gray, the Joe Ryans, the external trade deadline piece, you need those kind of pieces now to help you out and push you over the hill.
Are you both mad about Cole Sands, or is it just Declan?
I'm mad about Cole Sands. He's more mad about Tyler Duffy.
No.
If we're picking.
Well, no.
Cole Sands is a blip. He's the 10th guy that they had to call on because of injuries and COVID. He's a non-factor.
One, I'm not mad. I am in a mode of trying to help them avoid the same mistakes that they've made previously. So I'm not mad. Cole Sands, the Duffy thing, I feel bad for Tyler. I'm not mad about him. I feel bad for him, but I'm mad about mad's not the right word. I'm perplexed about the decision there. Cole Sands, I felt they were forced to use.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you're going to do. To Dex's point, I'm not sure what you're going to do. Like, you were hemorrhaging pitching. Guys got hurt.
Mm-hmm. There wasn't just like a guy to call up. Like, you literally just needed warm bodies at that point.
Yeah, so I'm not, no. And it is, I mean, Dex is right, you guys. Dex is exactly right. 5-4 with the pitching that they were trotting out starting-wise is a miracle. So, yeah. No. Cole Sands, I don't care. I just don't care.
Let's take what Declan just said here. So I think something we can all agree on is the path Declan was going down there, which is, and I'll use this as my next statement, this Twins team deserves the boost that previous Twins teams under this regime have not received midseason. Mm-hmm. The 2019 team in particular. Well, wasn't one of those years, was it 2017, where not only did they not give a boost, they traded pieces and then made a run after they sold at the deadline?
They tried to bail out.
Yes, and then they won and then the clubhouse got pissed, and Dozier got all chapped publicly, and then they went on a run and made the playing game. Yep. But, and I'll take this statement and spin it into a question too, because I posed this over the weekend on Twitter, and people called it a hot take, and they only focused on the second part of it. So, is this a hot take, I guess, is my question to you guys. I think the Twins should pick one of two paths, because the middle is not where I want to be with this team. This is a good enough team to add pieces to. You got Correa for at least 3 more months, no guarantees after that. You got Buxton when he's healthy, playing at a MVP votes level. Luis Arias is leading the league in batting average and I think on base percentage. Mm-hmm. So the Twins should do one of two things. One, trade for a high-end starter and a high-end reliever. You should go get both, so that you have a Frankie Montas or a Luis Castillo, who Declan mentioned, and some sort of, there's all kinds of reliever options always. Just go find somebody else that can miss some bats and stretch out the depth in that bullpen. If you don't do those things, I don't see the point in just marching toward 90-ish wins and getting smoked in the first round of the playoffs. And in that case, if you're just sort of marching down the middle, well, you might as well trade Carlos Correa to some team who's going to use him properly in October. So I'm not advocating to trade Carlos Correa, but I'm saying, like, he can walk in 3 months. So if you're not going to use him properly and give this team a boost, find a third playoff caliber starting pitcher. then what are we doing here? So this team deserves the boost that previous Twins teams have not gotten midseason.
Yes, completely. So, all right.
Are you going to complain about Duffy again here?
No. I promise to come in a good mood. Today it's a Monday. I promise to be in a good mood. Here's my feeling.
How do you not be in a good mood?
I don't feel that there is like a two paths here. If you can't see what you, Phil, painted as path A, what are you doing? You got a year. You got a year, probably, and it now becomes worse because of Royce being out for a year now again. Because, and I'm sure we'll talk about that, the torn ACL or the re-tear. But you got a year of a gift in which Scott Boras, the agent for Carlos Correa, called you up and basically said, "I've got the solution," and you're like, "What? What's the solution?" My guy likes to hit there. I've got Royce, who is, at that time, your backup. And Carlos Correa can spend a year there. I mean, that is a gift. That's like Christmas Day times 3. If you then sit down internally, in my opinion, and say, yeah, you know what? I got the Mackey hot take here, and I'm going to choose path B. Like, let's go down path B. Let's just sort of bail out. You shouldn't be working here.
Yeah,
like, you shouldn't be in pro sports.
For path B.
Right,
it's
but
more
I'm saying,
of a sarcastic path. That
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, if you but you are advocating for path A, which is doubling down, which I love. But I mean, that's going to be painful. Like you're going to have to give up guys that you absolutely love. But I honestly, you guys, think you have to do it. I really do. And the thing about this is, there's a very good chance, and that there's time to go, certainly. But there's a very good chance that you are just going to win the division. Like, you're going to be in good shape. And if that's the case, if you think, well, I mean, we're going to win the Central, so anything can happen, and you don't improve your starting pitching, and you don't improve your bullpen, shame on you. There's a golden opportunity.
I would say, too, to double down, and Chip Scoggins wrote about this Star Tribune today, pay Carlos Correa then. Like, give him another contract extension now, lock him in so you don't have to worry about him walking in free agency or opting out of that deal. Pay him now. He's a superstar. He loves this team. He's embraced the team. I would say extend him. Give him more money because you don't have a backup plan for a year. Royce Lewis is not going to be able to play baseball for most likely, again, for another calendar year. So he's potentially your opening day shortstop or is in the lineup by 2024 regularly. So I would pay Carlos Correa now. Like, make the decision to go at it at the deadline. Absolutely. I love path A there. But also,
I just don't know that he's
pay Correa.
Yeah. I just don't know that I don't think it's up to the Twins. I don't think he's, like, if you approach them right now and said, like, what's the number right now? Yeah. Hey, let's wipe out these dumb option seasons.
If you gave him, does he balk at 5 years, $200 million?
I think he thinks he can get more.
He wants like an 8 or 10 year deal because he's guaranteed 3 years and $100 million right now, right? Over $100 million.
Yeah.
Because he gets the option to opt in next year. If he blows his ACL or something, and God, I can't believe I just put that in the. I'm sorry for putting that into the universe, but he gets to opt in next year to rehab for $35 million. So he'd want something more like 7, 8, 9. Probably closer to 10 years into his late 30s, like some of these other guys are getting. So it's not, that's the thing. And listen, option 2, trading Correa, that is a tongue-in-cheek option. The point is, this team deserves, they just came out of this test. If you were waiting to see, how much fight do they show? How much resilience do they show? You know, how deep is this team? Can guys step up and still scratch across games when you literally have minor league pitchers starting games against the Yankees and the Rays? And the answer is yes, they did. Yep. So reward them at some point. I know you're not going to do it tomorrow because the trade talks won't heat up for another month from now. But if they keep plugging along and they stay, 8, 10, 12 games above 500, this team deserves that chance. Don't make the same mistake. To Judd's point earlier, learn from mistakes in the past. One of them is riding the middle lane during the trade deadline period when you have a good team that's ready to potentially do some damage.
Amen. Me?
Yes. One other thought on this. Yeah. I think if you get one of the top 2 seeds, don't you get a bye with the new playoff format?
Yes. Yep.
You go right to the division series.
This is another discussion. We keep talking about, well, if they can win the division. Well, winning the division as the 3rd division winner, record-wise, is really no different. I mean, besides playing home games, than a wild card team. You still have to play a 3-game series. but you get to play the games at home, which I don't think is that big of an advantage. So right now, I'd be looking at the other teams. Okay, you're not going to catch the Yankees, but the Astros are the number 2 seed right now. You're 4 games back, 3 games back of the Astros. Mm-hmm. Go add Frankie Montas and go catch the Astros and get a bye in the first round, and then, play whoever comes out of the first round. I don't know.
I love it.
Why not?
Absolutely. All right, my next statement is going to come as a surprise, I think, given my previous 2 statements. I really like this team. Now, I might disagree with what the front office does. I might disagree with strategy, but I'm going to tell you right now, I completely separate that from the players. I like this team. Like, this team to me is a likable collection. That has not been the case consistently. I think Donaldson became agitating. But when you look at this team now, I think as far as baseball player personality goes, so I don't know them from, I don't know a thing about them personally. But when you look at the fact that they seem to have fun, when you look at the fact that they seem to have fun players, Arise is a joy to watch. I'm going to tell you right now, like in every facet, and he might not be the best player, but he's damn good. And in every facet of how he approaches his job, it is fun. First base, he's constantly talking to umpires and coaches down there and players. And I'm sorry, but I think that's fun. Buxton. Buxton is a fun player, obviously. Urshela. He made another catch on a foul ball yesterday that was incredible.
He's a happy fella. And the Yankees lead 7-4.
Carlos Correa.
That ball is caught on the warning track.
That's an infield fly roll. Correa, great fun to watch. So just to be clear, I really like the makeup now, and I think that they do have, and that goes back to Phil's point, which is just dead on accurate, which is give them a better chance. Give them, they deserve that. They've done, the players, in my opinion, good and bad, just the whole roster has, for the most part, done everything that you've asked, right? They are a likable team. They are a fun team. I think that this is a team of players that the fan base can embrace.
Yeah, I don't know what their nickname is. Like the Bomba Squad was a fun marketing thing a few years ago. I don't know. Do we have a nickname for this team yet? Have they so. We had the Piranhas, the Bomba Squad. I don't know that this team has a character? Thing. Yeah, I don't know what their thing is.
I don't know that there's a defining characteristic of this team.
They're just resilient, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. They had boring. We joked about on Old Tweets Exposed last week. They had the home run robe in 2020. That didn't work. The Bomba Squad in 2019.
Yeah, do they do what? What do they do in the dugout? When someone hits a home run, are they even doing anything fun in the dugout?
I have no idea.
They're just, you know what? They're getting rid of all the dumb gimmicks that haven't worked in 20 years of Twins playoff appearances, right? We don't need to just go win games. This team is down to business. They're kind of party in the front. They're business in the front, party in the back.
And they got mullets?
Maybe they're the Dan Gladden sort of. All right, before we're going to get to the Royce Lewis conversation here, and we'll get to Declan's next statement, but a shout out to our friends at the Meadows at Mystic. Golf season is very much upon us.
Oh, I love golf season. It's beautiful weather. It's 98 degrees on Tuesday. I'm ready to sweat and maybe even hit the links before I head out on vacation later this week. But I will be at the Meadows at Mystic Lake all summer long, which is an award-winning 18-hole public golf course. And they feature a full-service golf shop, top-of-the-line equipment and apparel, and also lessons. Yes, they even have golf lessons. Old Dex Tweets needs numerous golf lessons. It was a little frustrating around yesterday for me on Sunday, but they offer lessons at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. If you want to book your tee time, book that lesson, check out all the apparel, go to golfthemeadows.com to learn more. It's golfthemeadows.com to learn more.
All right, Declan, we do have to get to the Royce Lewis thing. I don't know if you have a non-Royce Lewis statement, but go ahead.
Yeah, just quick. Give us the best possible product. That's my statement. And what I mean by that is when you sit Buxton and Correa on a beautiful day game at Target Field, dude, real bad for business. And there is still some jaded Twins fans here. Their attendance is still down. I know the weather has kind of stunk, but now it's finally getting nice out. When it's a Saturday game and families are coming to the ballpark or individuals are coming to the ballpark, you got to have Buxton and Correa in there, dude. Like, what I know and understand, we have to have a rest strategy for Buxton. Correa's slowly making his way back from COVID and is a superstar. You can't go to the ballpark and not have those two, at least one of those two dudes in the lineup consistently.
Yeah,
Need
it
to see
is.
him more.
I get why they're doing some of this, and I get the Buxton thing, and you're not gonna, he's got a bad knee and stuff. But yeah, can we stagger it? It's like in the NBA,
Right.
just you don't pull your two stars off the floor at the same time very often. You think one of them's out there for strategic purposes as often as possible. So I don't know. That rubbed me the wrong way on Saturday for sure.
Well, and the problem too was, unfortunately, Gordon is a butcher at shortstop. He is not good there, and both Gordon and the guy that started in center, Celestino, made errors in that game that were both costly. But yeah, I totally get the rest plan, but I guess I object to the same exact thing. Is like, can't you give one of them Sunday off or DH Correa and sit Buxton? Like the Buxton thing, I guess I get more, but Correa came back. He could have come back on Tuesday. He came back on Wednesday. He DH'd. He played shortstop Thursday, Friday, and then he can't DH again on Saturday. It's like there seem to be workarounds there. But unfortunately, Twins didn't agree.
I wonder what Dave St. Peter, totally off the record. I wonder what he would have to say about this. You're trying to sell tickets. You're coming out of this lockout, coming out of a pandemic.
Right. It's terrible for business. It's terrible. I mean, when you look now at what it costs, as Declan knows, to go to a game and especially if you bring your, wife and kids and they're going to want to eat and get a cap and you might get a $16 beer and parking's like $14, $15 now. That's the thing is, if it was a cheap day at the ballpark, I'd be like, well, that sort of sucks, but I get it. But when you're paying what a family of four, for instance, pays, your kids deserve to see at least one of those two players.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to frame the Royce Lewis statement as a question here. Yeah. Were guys like us wrong to push for him to play a different position that he wasn't totally familiar with? I looked at it and said, listen, he's an elite athlete. He played 50 or 60 innings of center field in the Arizona Fall League a couple years ago. So, or what I think it might have been a year ago. He's played out there before. Mm-hmm. Let's stop worrying so much. Hit him some fly balls during batting practice or whatever. He'll be fine out there. And as it turns out, he sort of mistimed his jump, tore his ACL, and now I think this is the third season he has now had season-ending surgery. So, should we feel a sense of guilt and shame for pushing the Twins to do this?
So despite what Patrick says, my opinion remains unchanged. It's no. We should not. First of all, as you just said, he's played there before. So this was not his first time ever. I don't know what I'm doing out here. Second of all, and this is not a conspiracy theory, I have no idea. It's just what occurs to me. When you immediately tear the ligament in that knee again, which, by the way, I think, if you look, is very strange. Like how many elite professional athletes in any sport, including football, do you hear about, hey, I came back and a month after that I tore her again? I think there's far more at work here about why it tore. And my guess, because if you go back and watch that, he wrenches his knee, but my God, name the amount of players who have made that exact same play. I mean, it's not like he crashed headfirst into the fence and now is concussed beyond belief. He literally made a play that a lot of guys make, and he wrenched his knee, and it went again. My inclination is that this was going to happen. Like, there was something off here. I don't know if it was the procedure itself didn't work. I don't know enough about the structure of the knee. But I refuse to believe that if he had been playing shortstop from here to eternity, that he would have never wrenched. I mean, you're going to wrench your knee. And it went as soon as he did. So, no, in this case, I don't feel guilty.
I have more of a issue with the fact he got sent down to do that for a week, come back up, and then he tears his ACL in a freak play. I have more bones to pick with why do we have to go down and him play the third and then play center? Like, why couldn't he even just stayed here? And I think that's where I have more of an issue with, not the fact that we were calling for him to play center field or anything. I think he should have stayed here from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a weird, unfortunate situation. I feel terrible for him because, my God, how many times does this have to happen Just all these season-ending injuries, and you don't know what he's going to come back. This kind of reminds me of Jason Kubel. Kubel had, I think, 2 years of bad knee injuries when he was in the minor leagues, and he was at one point one of the Twins' top prospects. And he came back, could barely run anymore. He looked like he looked like a 38-year-old lumbering man when he was 27 years old in his prime. And so I think that's the biggest worry, that what does this do to his range at shortstop, his ability to move like he has, because he is one of the best athletes in the entire organization. And you keep stockpiling surgeries like this before the age of 25, and then what kind of other issues are you going to have? Arthritic issues or whatever. It's hard not to be a little doom and gloom with Royce Lewis at this point. And they say it's going to be probably a 12-month recovery, so he's not going to play in games until June of next year. So I think Declan was right earlier in the show. We're probably looking at late 2023, maybe pencil him in for 2024 at this point. It's sad.
And then just hope at that point? Because it does seem weird that the knee went again so quickly.
Yeah,
it just seems a little bit odd. And that play, if you go back and watch the catch and him land, it's not like this, oh my God, his knee was, Theismann or so. It wasn't this disgusting thing where you're like, oh God, the whole thing blew up. It's just weird. Yeah. Like, I think sometimes the structure of different people very much can depend on what can happen when you wrench that knee. So that's just my opinion.
So, all right, boys, there it is. Twins statements here.
Oh, can I give you one more? Not Twins, but baseball, but it's very important.
Okay.
My statement is this. White Sox, don't fire Tony. I fear, despite the fact that that club has injury problems, if Russa gets fired, I fear that they might get incredibly hot. Because it's not a bad collection of players, right? And this old bumbling fool, who we predicted this a year ago, and it didn't take place, but it definitely is now. And Sox fans are chanting, fire Tony. I don't think Reinsdorf will do it, but if he does, I fear that the Sox will take off. So I'm begging you, Jerry Reinsdorf, stick with your plan. Stick with Tony.
And then, of course, Cleveland's just in there. Cleveland does this all the time, where they're going to strip the payroll down and be terrible, but we still somehow have 9 amazing pitchers because we just have a factory down there. You wish Cleveland would just kind of go away, so it could just be a one-on-one race against the faltering, fighting Tony La Russas. It is hilarious how quick fans turn, though, right? Last year, Tony. I think at the beginning when they hired him, it was people looked sideways, but then the minute he shows just a glitch of incompetence, chanting "Fire Tony" at these games.
Glitch of incompetence. 1-2. Hey, intentionally walk him. This guy kills us on 1-2.
Tony!
Tony's got 2 strikes. What are you doing, Tony? It was so good.